KWN Morning News coverage continues at 8:52 on this Friday morning, March the 10th. And Newsmaker segment every Friday during the session, we welcome State Representative Mike Cameron to the studio. He's here. Good morning, sir. How are you? And for those of you that don't know, Mike is our state representative. He covers all of Dade County and the western and southern portions now of Walker County. So we certainly appreciate him taking time. The session is heating up, and of course we've been hearing a lot of things that are going on down there as far as the budget's concerned. Some of the bills, I know that the Mountain Valley Independent earlier this week, I saw where you had authored a couple of bills that have passed, unemployment insurance contributions, and also some new crime law around the incest law.
Yeah, and I just had a hearing yesterday afternoon at 4 o'clock with the Senate Judiciary, and they passed my bill out of committee. And Senator Chuck Payne is probably going to carry it in the Senate to try to get that passed. But we've got to do something about these people who take advantage of our young people in situations like that, the one that we described, because young people sometimes go into broken homes. There's a lot of that now, and it's really bad when an adult takes advantage of a young person like that and gets them in a sexual situation. And this person, thankfully, is getting counseling and help, and we hope, we wish the best and hope the best for her. But we need to put a stop to some of this, and we need to let people know if they do this kind of thing, they're going to get met with some hard prison time.
What's some other things? I know that Susan King here on the radio is covering a couple of bills that were passed out this week out of the House. Crossover Day was Monday. Is that correct?
Yeah. So it was Monday.
Now you start looking at all the Senate bills, and the Senate starts looking at all the House bills.
Yeah, that's true. And we worked till about 5 or 10 after midnight. I didn't get to my place I stay until 12:30, 1:45. So that was a long day. It was about and I started at 6 o'clock that morning working. So that's a long day, but that's what I earned the $5 an hour for. So it's all good.
The budget was passed, and it should hold well for some taxpayers. So it looks like a rebate's coming.
Yeah, the rebate's coming. They'll have to work out the details on all that, and the Senate, do their thing, and then they'll have a conference committee. Probably they'll get together and meet, because it's rare that the Senate agrees with the House on the budget, and they'll do their tweaks, and it'll come back, and then they'll join together and work it out. But we just barely got the supplemental budget worked out Monday and voted on it by crossover. Well, but that bill was introduced. But anyway, we agreed with the conference report and got that done Monday. So we're funded through the rest of fiscal year 22-23, and we're working on 23-24 to get that done. It's $32.4 billion.
What are some of the things that you think, other than the two bills you just talked about that you're working on? What are some other things that are going to affect the folks up here if it passes and gets to the governor's desk to be able to be signed?
Well, I think the mental health bill we passed last Friday. Originally, it had a bunch of stuff about mental competency, and people thought we were going to take their guns. And I'm never going to vote for a bill to take your guns. That's just, and they took the mental competency language out. And basically what the mental health bill does this year, it sets up a bunch of study groups. We've got to get our hands around how many beds we need in Georgia, and what type of services we need to render, and how do we need to render them, because we've got jails are full of people with mental illness, and we've got to be able to help our jailers and our sheriffs to deal with that. But also, I'll deal with the bill that it was controversial, the truck weight bill. The governor 3 years ago he signed an executive order raising truck weights to 95,000 pounds with a variance to 98,000. I was against the bill, but and I'd pushed the red button, but they had the votes to pass it. So the question I had to ask myself, do I want to thumb my nose at the speaker and the governor and risk future not getting funding up here for roads and bridges? And so I changed my vote to yes, and I own it. And some people are not going to like it. I understand that, but I made a judgment call that I thought I had to make for the people of Walker and Dade counties, and I made it.
to give them a little bit. It was changed during COVID to be able to let more products to be able to be moved, and this just keeps it at that level instead of going
no,
back.
it
correct?
goes. No, it takes it down. It takes it down from 95,000 to 88,000.
Okay.
88 is the maximum. It's 80 with a variance to 88,000, and it's for agriculture and for timber. And I don't know that we have much timber up here. I know we have a lot of chicken trucks that probably run the rows, and I totally get it. But I have to look too. It's not only what's best for me politically, but what's best for the people. And if I can't get funding for roads because I vote against a bill, that creates some problems. And like I say, the bill already had the votes to pass. It was going to pass. So that's why I changed my vote to yes at the last minute. It wasn't that I was weak and vacillating. I was thinking about, I have to think about more than me when I make a vote. And that's what I did.
Now, is this on state roads and county roads,
This is mainly the state roads.
State roads,
Yeah.
state roads. Okay,
Yeah. But they're going to have to post bridges. I think they're going to have to post the sign on bridges all over the place because there's a lot of bridges that aren't going to be able to hold 88,000 pounds. So, and GDOT's behind on that, and they realize they're behind on it. But the bill goes to the Senate, and it's going to face a tough sled up there because I talked to some Republicans the other day, and it's not a party line thing. This is going to be a mix of Republicans and Democrats for and against. So it's not an easy thing, and I totally get the fact that our farmers in South Georgia need to be able to carry more weight on the flat roads. My concern is up here on the mountain roads, but again, I know how this thing works, and you go back and look for funding for something, and they go, well, your guy didn't vote for this, and we're not going to fund it. So I have to look at that too.
State Representative Mike Cameron, he serves all of Dade County in the western and southern portions of Lafayette, and we certainly appreciate him coming in every Friday during the session. We got about 30 seconds. How can they get in touch with you?
They can get in touch with me, 423-667-3406.
All right.
And thank you for letting me serve you. And we've got 2.5 more weeks, and we're going to sprint to the finish line.
All right. Well, that was going to be my final question. How long? So about 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, about 2.5 weeks. The 29th is the last day. The 30th, I'll be laying on a couch either in my office or at the house.
That's the day that the clock never stops.
Yeah, that's the day the clock never stops. And so that'll be another midnight or after day. So.
Absolutely. Mike Cameron, State Representative for Dade County and a good portion of Walker County. Thank you a lot for coming in. Top of the hour now here on the KWN Morning News.